Well, welcome. I'm Black Dragon, and this is the Sunday Night Roundtable. What's up, man? What's up, y'all?
What up, dog?
What's going on?
So,
Hey, man.
I got the Ruski below me. We really got to put the music on. I'm going to be looking up here.
It's the Russian jumpsuit, it makes it the Russian tracksuit.
I created a monster.
The job you want, not the job you have.
Might as well. Oh, my goodness. So, today's show is called War on the Streets. What is your motorcycle club prepared to do? Or is your motorcycle club prepared? What's your club prepared to do to protect you? And we got Dirty sitting here with a full battle dress on. Holy moly, man. So, hey, we all need protection. Hey, listen, something happened that was really funny. Danny D'Lo, my good friend Danny D'Lo was.
He's gonna put that out here publicly, huh? I bet.
You already got the toes out there. Might as well throw this.
So Hollywood decided he would play a joke on Danny D'Lo, and he calls Danny up in some kind of way, convinces him that there is some sort of martial law thing going on. We're about to get attacked by the Soviets, blah blah blah, and he's got Danny going, and Danny was like, "Oh fuck, God, no, we're not supposed to be cursing, but blah blah blah," and Hollywood calls me up, falling out. I've got Danny. I really got Danny on this one, and I was like, Danny, how could you go for that? And he said, dude, you see all this stuff happening over there with Russia and China and everything? Anything could be going on. And man, that set my mind to reeling. And Danny really wasn't that far off. I mean, we got Russians on the border of whatever that place is, Ukraine. Russians on the border of Ukraine. Strong men standing arm in arm at the Chinese Olympics. Or at the Olympics in China. You got possibly a civil war next election. No telling.
We are extremely close to WW3. People don't even know it.
We got a border crisis in Texas, Arizona, and all that.
We got a bunch of stuff going on.
Shit's getting real out here.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's always been real.
Well, it was getting really real.
Really real.
All these dudes carrying guns talking about, yeah, man, I wish somebody would. Well, we gonna see. We gonna see.
Guns and they barely have any ammo for it.
We gonna see who was real and who wasn't. Might have just been collecting those ARs for some of us.
Yeah, ARs. Yeah, collecting the AR to get it taken from you.
Yeah.
I got tons of ammo. That's what I get.
Yeah, you need more than you need an AR. You need AR ammunition. Which
I'm gonna fight the war with hugs.
For a while. Yeah,
Hugs and kisses will win the war, guys.
That's right. I'm just when they run up on me, I'm just gonna give them a big kiss, give them a hug, welcome.
Maybe they're blowing soap bubbles and stuff on them,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know what's up, Tank.
That's right. Hey, can't we all just get along, man?
Yeah.
Danny goes around with a little bubble blower that's rainbow colors and just.
Yeah. I just want to love, man.
Do they have rainbow colored bubbles? I didn't know.
Oh
that.
yeah, out of his bike on the exhaust, it comes out all these bubbles, rainbow colors.
Hey, notice who's giving all these ideas. Obviously, he's done it before.
Oh, I do.
I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
I do it.
Anyway.
No, but for me,
here we go.
The first thing that brought it to my attention was Hurricane Katrina. When we saw, how bad the government failed, and it dawned on me, somebody said, here we go down the rabbit hole. It dawned on me that if you're sitting around waiting for the government to provide you protection when even the police are leaving their jobs to go home to take care of their families? The question is, are your motorcycle clubs prepared to protect you? And if not, should they be? And I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about it tonight. For instance, does your club, or is it the club mindset or thinking that maybe we should be doing some prepping or something? I mean, we've got compounds, we've got armies, little small armies. We've got land, we got clubhouses all over the place. Some of us. So, what is the motorcycle club's responsibility? Or is it even something anybody's even thinking about? Are we going to be caught unawares and our butts torn up, walking around like refugees if something goes down? So that was what I wanted to talk about tonight. And let's start with maybe your first thoughts, Dirty, since you're the one who seems the most prepared.
Don't feel threatened by Dirty.
So I would have to look at it as in what kind of fight are you planning on fighting? I don't think that a foreign country is going to invade U.S. soil.
No.
Well, let's be honest. There's enough of us out here with guns. So even if they were to get past our army, they'd have to deal with the armed populace. As far as a civil war goes, let's be honest. Americans, we're creatures of comfort. Until they take away the McRib, we're not picking up guns. The closest you're going to see.
Long live the McRib.
God, I love you. I love you, Dirty.
A fight. It's going to be something like you saw in like 2020 with all the riots. You're going to see pockets of violence. And it's essentially going to turn into somewhat of a race war, which it wouldn't really be a race war because you're going to have people of both races fighting on both sides because it's more or less going to be a revolution of sorts.
Yeah, it's not a running race, Danny.
It's classism. It's classism.
It's essentially,
Ideologies.
And then you're going to see the government try to break it up, and then you're going to see certain cells or certain groups fighting the government alongside fighting other citizens, and it's going to turn into melee. Honestly, as far as a club goes, their best option is to have somewhat of a fallout plan on where to go to be safe, whether that's the clubhouse. Like I know in Kenosha, there's a couple clubs that fell back to the clubhouse to make sure nothing bad happened in it in 2020.
Yeah, when the riots were going on.
Right. And
they protected a couple of bars too. I remember
that. And it's stuff like that. As far as prepping goes, do the best you can, get supplies, try to store them relatively in a safe location. But if it goes long term, you're going to have to get your hands dirty because you're going to run out of your supplies. I mean, honestly, if we're looking at an attack from, say, a foreign country, it's going to be somewhat cyber, where they're going to take out part of our infrastructure. And that's when shit's going to get really nasty. And that's what you should probably plan for, is an infrastructure attack to where, because you turn off the electricity, we're all fucked.
It's happened before.
I'm going to do a podcast. You know what I'm saying? If I don't have Wi-Fi, it's just going to get nasty. So I would say, stock up on ammunition, train with your weapon, stock up on supplies, food and water, make sure everybody in the club knows the plan, general plan. And to be quite honest, you're going to probably have to break up in cells because every club member's got a family member or 2 or 3 or 10 or 20 that they want to take care of. So you could go from a club of, say, 10 dudes to 200 fucking people real quick.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So, Tank, what do you think?
First of all, I just want to go on record with the alphabet agencies and any that are watching at this point. This is only for entertainment purposes. Second, I want to say that I'm really glad that he's my president of the Motorcycle Club. You can see how the Brothers in Chains roll. The funny thing is, BD, is that we, one of our early podcasts, number 11, we're up to 94 now, and number 11 was our post-apocalypse training on the pandemic, and we were evidently well ahead of the bell curve on that. We talked about a lot of this, and Dirty's right. I mean, it's a different it'll be a different revolution. It'll be definitely a cyber war, first and foremost, because they'll take out the information systems and our ability to be able to communicate with each other. And let's face it, I mean, Dirty was just joking when he said they take away the McRib, and then it's going to get real. And, that really is true, because how long have we been listening to it now? For 2 years.
Yeah.
Just with this alone, where people are like, oh, yeah, well, wait until they wake up to people that are going to, get pissed off. Wait till they do this. Wait till they do
Yeah.
that. I mean, it's like Jimmy Carter and Muammar Gaddafi all over again in '79 with, walk across this sand line, and then he goes, okay, I'll step across, we'll step across this line. Okay, and step across this line. And they're just pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. In terms of the club world, I don't think people really truly realize that if the clubs were to unify, if we were to put aside our petty differences and truly unify, what a formidable force that we would be in this country. Truly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amen. Amen.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that. Danny, what are your thoughts?
I got to be honest. I think Tank and Dirty both, but I think Dirty really hit it on the head, man. And like Tank said, we've been talking about this BS for so long, and everybody can talk about. It's like when you on the street, man. You talk all that jazz, and we've all heard club guys talk this stuff, right? Like, yeah, man. I see those dudes. It's on. But is it really though? Because when shit really does hit the fan and when shit really does go down, you can be prepared and you can be working out. You can have all the ammo in the world, but do you got the heart to really do what you got to do to get down? You know what I mean? So I kind of feel like that, man. Like Tank and he said, I mean, yeah, that McRib joke was a joke, but it's kind of for real. We see society now, man. I mean, everybody talk about, yeah, this is gonna happen, that's gonna happen. Man, ain't shit gonna really happen, man. I don't really see it going down like that. I really don't.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think, Bone?
Man, all right. So it's so funny you say this. I wrote an article on this, one of the biker magazines about a year ago, and I used some pictures from some of the Mad Max movies, and I reminded. This is when back when folks were flipping the hell out and stealing toilet paper by the crate loads and and all this kind of stuff. Right? Remember that? So the thing is, and the joke I made was, and it's kind of accurate, is that if you ever watch any of those Mad Max or apocalyptic movies, guess who just is doing all right? Bikers. The bikers are okay. And take a minute, think about it. They're either the bad guys or the good guys or the cool guys, but running out of food, water, chicks, nothing, right? They're good. And I'll tell you why. Because easy as it is to say, oh, well, that's just a silly old movie, the truth of the matter is that the organization and the infrastructure of legit MC is one that lends itself to supporting one's brother. And it's already been, comparable to the military, because a lot of MCs. I mean, this whole MC stuff started from the military. If you really want to delve into it, so as a result of such, that ideology allows us to be more prepared in case. Now, the part two of that is, what's the possibility of something really happening? Which we talked about that just in the short time we've been on. We talked about that a little bit. Is something really going to happen? Maybe. I'll give you an example. In 2014, ABC News did a story. They had, if anybody wants to look it up, but in 2014, ABC News did a story on the news it was on CNN and it was on the internet. And what it said was, Outcast MC, meet the bikers. I wrote it down. It says, meet the biker group who says it's set. Get it set. It's set on keeping Ferguson safe. So things were pretty wild. It was pretty crazy. All y'all know about what went down in Ferguson. And the police reached out to my club and said, hey, man, we need some help. Why would they do that? And that's the first question. Why would the police reach out to a motorcycle club and everything else. They reached out to a motorcycle club. Well, and of course, fortunately, that motorcycle club did a real bang up job in keeping people safe and quelling the violence and the looting and all of that stuff that was going on. Later on, when the police went to give a heartfelt thank you to the club for assisting the police, I was very pleased when the club responded quickly and sternly with the, hey, we were not helping the police, we were keeping the community safe. Our ideology is take care of the community is going to take care of you. So there's
Straight
that.
up.
It's the ideology is take care of the community. Of course, your brothers, the families are your brothers because those are your family too. Community, you take care of the community take care of you. Now, is all these guys talk about all this stuff about well, do we have are there guns, is there ammo, all this kind of stuff? Let's keep it 100. And every MC has a legit gun nut, right? And it's not
At
necessarily.
Oh
least
no, no.
Allegedly, I might have heard that somewhere once.
Allegedly, yeah.
At least one.
I kind of feel like I don't think that in the case of MCs, I can't speak for every club or even my club, but what I can tell you, my opinion is that as it comes to MCs, the idea of that sort of preparedness is that's a non-issue because I think some cats are like overly prepared. But here's one last thing. I'm going to say this and then shut the hell up about it. So I've been hearing for years now from the right. I'm not going to get too political on it, but the Republicans or the right has been saying for 30, 40 years now, every time a Democrat gets in office in the presidency, they're going to take your guns. They're going to take your guns. I had a very good friend of mine tell me straight up, he owns a gun shop. He's a Democrat. And he said he pushes that same narrative. You know why? Because the sales for his guns, ammo, and equipment go through the roof every time a Democrat is elected, because they're going to push that narrative and people are going to buy into it. And this is the thing is, this United States of America, nobody's taking your guns, so let's just stop it. That's some political fodder that people just kind of like buy into. So Democrats and Republicans are two sides or two wings of the same damn bird.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, the people just haven't figured that out yet. It's about money. So if the NRA used to be like a real big thing, not so much now, but that's really what's going on here, man. It's nobody's taking your guns. And in regard to what I forget who it was. I think Danny said this. Nobody's coming to American soil, pounding the ground, trying to shoot it out with a bunch of good old
Dirty
boys
said that.
Alabama or go see the Crips in Chicago or something. It ain't happening.
That ain't happening.
Too many guns here. That ain't gonna happen. If something goes down, it's gonna be cyber. It's gonna be a different attack on a different infrastructure, not conventional warfare like we think of.
Right. Dirty actually said
But yeah,
that.
I think MCs, the culture in general, could be considerably more prepared than the average Joe Blow, except for those Walmart riders. Those guys at Walmart are serious.
Hey, leave us alone.
Hey, Wild, good time to segue to you.
Damn
Not that
right
you're a
it
Walmart
is.
rider or anything. But
Bitches be
what
tripping.
do you think, man?
Bitches be tripping. Well, I mean, everybody's been hitting a lot of things, of course, like as Danny's words, hitting the nail on the head, right? Not giving head. But I like starting when I was a little kid growing up in Miami, we had Hurricane Andrew that hit. And we were without electricity, water for 2 weeks. And that's when I noticed nowadays we don't know our neighbors. I know you can talk to majority of people. They don't really know their neighbors really well. And luckily we did over there. We helped each other out for, resources and stuff. And I saw people getting their houses ransacked at night, looted for supplies. So if people know they like talking all this crap, I have all this ammo, all these guns and water, guess what? You're letting everybody know where the stash is, right? That's one thing. Number two, we all talk this shit, but who actually trains with their guns? Everybody who trains with all the supplies they have, they can stockpile all their supplies they want. But no one, if you're not out there actually doing it, when shit hits the fan, you're not going to do it. And when you do, you're going to get that shit taken away from you. And I think it's going to be, I mean, you see, it's not like technology right now is a lot, is huge. And since in Pearl Harbor, no one expected that to happen, right? Didn't expect anyone to go to U.S. soil. It happened, but not saying it's going to. But nowadays, you just never know from within what's going to happen. I think if anything happens, it's going to be more city-based, region-based, almost like more like from starting riots. And, that's going to be where you're going to see the most, what's been happening more and more. And like I said, the biggest thing is the training. I see a lot of MCs. How many MCs do we know? I'm not talking about majority MCs, but a lot of people stab each other in the back just for peanuts. And when shit hits the fan and their family is on the line, I mean, are you going to trust that person not to take your shit and try to keep their family alive? So you got to remember who you have and who you can really, really trust. And I know there's MCs in Texas. A lot of people have ranches and compounds, and they do have some plans. But how many people practice the plans? Same thing as an MC. When we had my guys, we actually practiced defensive driving. If you know what I mean. And had certain things in mind and plans. How many people do that rather than talking about it?
Right.
I mean, do
Right.
people actually practice any of their skills that they talk about? I think in the U.S., where like they said, if anyone ever comes invading, I mean, they have to deal with the population that has guns everywhere. I don't know if they're going to take our guns, but our rights do get stripped every day. The law enforcement doesn't even know our rights. They don't know the rights.
There's laws put in place to take away every right we have.
So as long as we can educate ourselves from the amendments so we stop taking directives and understand what we have and doesn't mean it's right, but I mean, if it's a legal thing and a right of ours, we have to at least use it. But that's a nutshell. Everybody did a great job. And Dirty Tank, everybody, Big Bones, they said everything I wanted to say. So I was trying to say something different.
Hey, Carlos. Hey, wait a minute,
Mayhem.
Carlos. I wanted to tell you something, Carlos. See, here in Florida.
Damn, your accent is getting.
Here in Florida, the COC, just a month before last, we did a thing called a shootout. Bad name, I think. But yeah, the shootout, which we just did a couple of months ago, that's where
are we talking about?
I've seen a couple of those.
No, I'm dead ass serious. So the shootout was where all the clubs in the COC got together, went to the range and shot competitively against each other at targets.
Yeah.
To see who was the best shot. And guess what? There's clubs in our COC like Killer Man Sons, go figure, Special Force. There's MCs and others that are extremely proficient. These different clubs have a lot of Marines and so on and so forth. So to answer your question, now I cannot speak for everywhere, but I can say in the Sunshine State, oh yeah, folks train. There's guys.
Well, I mean, I know a couple of clubs in Florida and in your backyard that actually all train together and from jiu-jitsu to different things. And
yeah, I know some clubs that
out
do
there. I
that
mean,
too.
there are thousands of clubs in every freaking state. When we say clubs,
I know some clubs that they got gym day. Like the whole charter goes to the gym and works
there's
out,
thousands of clubs
every day.
out there. I mean, that's why I never speak on. I speak very general,
Jim, like
right?
a dude named Jim.
There's thousands and thousands
I got
of
silver
clubs and
sneakers
associations, and
I don't have Russian. I got silver sneakers.
All right, so let's get to Mayhem. Mayhem, tell us what you think, man.
So I got a lot of thoughts on this subject, and everybody hit like different points that I agree with. Some maybe that I don't. I just got first start out by saying I am fighting for Team McRib because
damn right,
right, and B, llama itself. So being that I'm, with everyone knows I'm with the organization Llama. Llama's very much kind of keeps politics and things out of everything. So I'm speaking more from my personal perspective in this meeting than my club or my organization. So I just want to put that out there.
Right.
But I think Big Bone said something about no one will ever take away our guns, and I think depending on where you are in the country, we like Wild on 2 said, they're stripping our rights away every day a little bit more, the government that is, and it really depends on the different area in the country. Like down here in Texas where I'm at, we don't even need a permit to get to conceal and carry at this point in our state. But up in New York, they've put in so much red tape that my mom's, who's probably couldn't even hit the broadside of a barn even if she got a gun in her hand, took over a year to get her pistol permit because of all the red tape and things that they're doing to try to keep guns out of their people's hands. So there's different things going on. I think we have to be careful because these things happen a little at a time. And so I think we can become complacent if we don't recognize that it's building up. I mean, certainly more and more of our rights, especially as bikers and the culture stuff, profiling things going on in different areas. I think while on twos hit it right, where it's going to be a lot more, maybe more regionally, statewide versus national. But the fact that we've got that Second Amendment, which is in place just in case the First Amendment things don't work out. I think it's important that we protect it and we be prepared for it. Now, that being said, there's all different clubs all over the country, as people have mentioned, that are preparing different ways that do different things. I can say, because of Lama's approach to kind of staying away from politics and those kind of things, there would be probably on that organization's level zero preparedness versus other clubs that it's not a fun topic. It can cause fractions within a club or whatever, different viewpoints and things like that. But it's something that I think we have to be ready for and we have to be able to address, because at the end of the day, I'm not sure who said it, but if all the clubs came together, what a powerful force we would be, you know what I mean? And we'd be prepared. So that's my 2 cents.
So the I appreciate everybody's 2 cents on that. For me, I'm like there are some clubs that are more highly prepared than other clubs. So I want to take this part of the segment to ask you guys, and I kind of disagree. I think that we could have boots on the ground here. It hasn't happened in so long. It would be one of those things that would absolutely, blow us away. We've all seen Red Dawn 1, 2, and 3, and shows like that.
Wolverines.
But it's terrifying. But man, also too, does Dirty bring up something so incredible? Like the battle will really be from within. Because it will be thrown that way. I mean, if they hit us with the EMP or whatever the case may be, I like to watch these zombie movies. I like them because they show the breakdown in the fabric of Earth and what happens in society. And one of my favorite, I think, is called Black Summer, or something like that. And it's just it's all like one day. It's almost like how they used to shoot 24. It's one day, and it goes from one person goes through a thing, and then they come back and tie that to the next person and the next person, and you realize all you've really seen is like a day of action. And this thing is so crazy because it shows how you can't trust anybody, how everybody will cut everybody's throat, how when the resources get bad, it doesn't matter. A pregnant lady will stand in front of your car and beg you to help her, and as soon as you pull over, her husband comes from out of the bushes and blows your brains out. These are the crazy things that are going to happen if the fabric of society breaks down. We've seen it before. We actually did see, you guys remember in New York 20, 30 years ago, maybe a little longer than that, when they had that blackout for, I forget how long it was. The streets of New York went crazy. So my question now for this half of this portion of the segment is, what and Dirty, you answered a little bit of it, but what do you guys think clubs can do that haven't done any preparing or any preparedness? What can they do to strengthen their threat posture? And I don't even just mean necessarily from some sort of breakdown in fabric that comes from war. It could also come from civil unrest, or it can come from disaster. Or is your club even set up to handle a disaster? If government can't get to you for a while, if if the roads are all down and everything, is there even food in stores in your club to take care of people and their families with? So I'll let you guys take that, and you guys take it as you want. Whoever wants to talk, speak up.
A
Well,
quick correction, real quick, a correction. It was not called Black Summer. It was called African American Summer, and I think it had Samuel Jackson starring in it, and he said MF a lot. All right, I might have lied a little bit, but
A little bit,
probably.
a little bit. I thought we
Might
were
have been
talking about
Samuel
Black Snake
Jackson.
Moan. I love that movie.
Right.
There's one special part in it. I love the shit out of it.
So what are we thinking here? Give me something, Carlos.
You go ahead and go someone else. Sorry, I was really.
Well,
I guess I'll say
I
something.
was dealing with work here quick.
So what I would say is for some of the clubs to maybe try to get in contact with their local, believe it or not, militia. We see a lot of militias now. They're not bad groups. They're groups of guys that prep, train, or prep, train, prep, train. I actually work with. They're not a militia, but they're a group of my friends that are very high alert on stuff. They do very high security stuff like that. And I mean, we put our boots on the ground in Kenosha when things were going nuts out there, and we're walking around and handling business. Um, but you can learn a lot from them. You can learn how to train yourselves, and stuff like that. Wild on Twos mentioned jujitsu. That's another thing you can kind of get into. Go get in the gym and just work out a little bit and train with this group or that group. Do a little jujitsu. Kind of learn some things. You know what I'm saying? Like just in case if things do go down. And like you said, I mean, whether it's um, going at it with another group, whether it's civil unrest, whether it's the Russians invade America, whatever the case may be, at least you're somewhat prepared. I mean, like I've said, you're never always going to be mentally prepared for that situation, but at least try to be physically prepared for that situation.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, yeah. No, I mean, I totally agree with what you said. I mean, it's just like getting everything physically. But like most people, we keep saying, because when we picture about people talking about coming in, boots in, and people attacking us, I think if anything happens similar to that, it's mostly everybody being trained in the U.S. and people. It's almost like the groups. They have groups like that will turn within the U.S. and that could happen. But there's
Oh,
actually things out there called like ZERT, right? I think it's Apocalypse Response Team. It's an organization. It's like you can sign up for fun, join. They have forums and they help people with prepping. They have 2-man tactical training. They have 4-man tactical training. They have different training for survival. There's a lot of organizations out there. I would do a lot of. I used to practice survival training about starting fires with whatever is out there in nature. Making weapons out of nothing, out of deer antlers and fishing hooks out of deer antlers and stuff. So I mean, I'll do it, just kind of make it a hobby, make it fun, learn. And like I said, worst case, if nothing ever happens, you got a little in shape, you learn some good knowledge, you can go do something that people don't do anymore, And that's why I stick to old cars.
exactly.
The new technology, one little chip goes out, you can't even freaking drive.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
One thing that's interesting is that like a lot of companies, corporations, and stuff like that will have like emergency like officers positions like assigned where I don't think MCs very often do that will implement and release and practice these like emergency plans and things of that nature. When I was when I finished my active duty in Army and was in the National Guard, we got called down to the city for 9/11 and all that. It was like there's instant communication. We're all called. We're all pulled in. It was like we had this alert system, and I feel like when it comes to these emergency situations, when things start going sideways, they go sideways fast sometimes when it gets to that point, right? When it gets to that breaking point, communication's the number one thing. So you got to have communication out. And I think that like Llama is really good with that, at least with my chapter and the chapters in Texas as a whole, communication and response. But beyond that, you need to have like some sort of plan, like something like when that call comes in, when that notification comes in, people know where to go, know where to do, know where to meet
Yeah.
up, and that type of thing. And I feel like there's that level of detail that, like you were saying, with the militias and stuff, they do that. They do a lot of that, right? But I
Yep.
don't think that we do a lot of that in the MCs, culture ourselves. And so
Well,
that's something.
that's why I said, I mean, it's a good thing
Yeah.
for MCs to try to look into doing that, because
Exactly.
that's a real big key that you mentioned. Because when things, if things were to go sideways like this, we're not going to be able to post on Facebook like, "Hey, where everybody at?" You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
We're not going to be able to shoot you a text message or nothing. So, yeah, you got to know, okay, shit just hit the fan. Everybody load up in the car, and we're on our
Smoke
way to
all the
that spot.
weed.
Yep.
Well, there's a couple things that we're missing. Number one, nobody's talked about medical training.
True.
If something happens where you're leaking hydraulic fluid, you can't call
Yep.
911 to stop the bleed.
Amen.
You're gonna have to know how to do that yourself, especially if you've been shot or got hurt and you're by yourself. You got to learn how to use a tourniquet
Yep.
properly.
Yep.
Me and Tank actually did a podcast with a guy named Blair Dell, episode 86, and his whole goal right now is to train people how to do let's just say like a triage type situation to stop bleeds, to make sure that you can stay alive till higher care can get to you. And he's doing it for bikers, and he wants to do these things for bikers because, I mean, let's be honest, a lot of us are going to crash our bikes more than we're going to get into World War III.
Right.
And,
Oh yeah.
Right.
you're going to learn.
I think every single MC should have their own training for trauma training, and to have people with like real not first aid kits you buy off Amazon, like real Israeli.
Yeah, something that goes
That's
further
what
than
Blair's
the tampon in
offering.
a prospect bag.
And that's what I believe in with my medical background. So I was.
That's what
Keep going,
that guy's actually he's actually putting kits together for people like, okay, so what do you want to try to stop? How do you want your kit to be? And I'll make it for you. I'm going to sell it to you for almost cost, and that way you can throw it in your saddlebag. So if shit goes down on the road, you're prepared.
And provide the training.
And he's going to provide the training. Our club has actually an EMT in it, so we would probably send him, because he's actually training people to train people. So like, say you have a club and you have, say, an EMT in your club. You could send your EMT member. He can get this training from this guy who's a special forces medic, and he can come back and show the rest of the club what to do in case shit happens. Because shit's going to happen. I mean, we've all been around accidents in the motorcycle scene, period, whether or not it's clubs or whatever. So you should really get that medical training. That would be, I don't know, number one, I would say, as far as like.
And also, you got to remember about the bags. I keep hearing people about putting I see it all the time. Only a few guys have the EMS guy or the medical guy is going to have that bag on his bike. If he freaking goes down, his bike is destroyed. That bag is nowhere to be seen, and people are not going to be looking for that. And so you got to make sure more than like 5 people should have a real trauma kit on that. Because I mean, I see people just like 2 people have a real trauma kit, and the rest have like little first aid kits with Band-Aids. So you got to put in multiple bikes in case the one that goes down is the EMS guy.
Yeah.
And you can get
Hey,
a
those
decent
Band-Aids
trauma kit
came in
from,
handy when I got stung in my hand from a bee. I had a boo-boo, okay?
You
I
can
bet.
get a
You
decent
wrap 'em around
trauma
the
kit
toes,
from the Army Navy surplus discount. They typically have decent trauma bags. That's where I've gotten a lot of mine from.
All right, BD. Well, I'm going to be taking off to go set up for the neutral zone.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you, guys.
Peace, guys. Good chatting.
Great night, fellas.
I've seen you, bud.
What's
Thanks,
your
everybody in the
spec,
comment section.
You know, one of the things that pursuant to what Dirty was saying, and where I think that a lot of the club people have a little bit of an advantage. I mean, there's many other organizations out there that people have this mindset, but a lot of club guys are former military, and the club culture itself begets a certain type of attitude of preparedness. And I've said it for a while that when you have somebody who has that attitude of it is what it is, we hear it a lot in the club world. It is what it is. And what that is that somebody who has the attitude that they've already accepted what's happened and they're ready to move on immediately from that stance. They're not going to be in shock for that long of a period, because when things go down, when things go sideways, well, it is what it is. let's have a plan, let's move on. And so you've got that time factor where you're able to react a lot quicker. And clubs also have that advantage as well, along with, a lot of military training. And a lot of the people, like-minded, we all raise your hand if you got a bug out bag, Exactly. Every single one of us here. So, like I said, it's that mental mindset too that does give us an advantage in the club world.
Well, I got to get trucking too to the neutral zone, but
yeah, me too.
And I just wanted to say, I forgot who said it. They were talking about getting with it was Danny Dilo talking about getting with the state militias and whatnot. I don't know if that's the right thing to do or whatever, So if it was me, I would just try to stick with your close friends, your club members, whatever. Because when shit hits the fan, you don't know who to trust, especially if everybody's fighting for the little scraps of crumbs left over from society. But I got to get going. Proudboys.com, links in the description, and we'll talk to you guys later.
All right. So,
Okay.
listen, I wanted to keep this short tonight, and let everyone get their 2 cents out. Somebody said something I thought was interesting, and Bone, I know we see this a lot. Somebody said a little bit earlier, I thought it was really interesting. Man, let me find it. This guy said, I used to think that prepping was for white cats. And let me see. Is this it? Yeah. At first, growing up, I always thought that the subject of doomsday prep was mainly what white people were concerned with. But after learning from 2016, 19, 2020, it's a universal subject matter. I have so many bros that don't seem to get, like, I don't know. They think I'm some kind of weirdo, but hey, I'm gonna have my stuff ready. And I don't, I don't know about the next person, but we're gonna try to live a week longer than everybody else anyway.
That's right.
I'll tell you. One of the things that was bounced is we've been talking about this, and I didn't want to take up too. There's a guy by the name of Dr. And I'm going to come back to what you said. This all ties in, but there's a really a wonderful scholar by the name of Dr. Umar Johnson. So if y'all get a chance, take a look at what he says. He's got a lot of really good stuff to say. But anyway, one of the things that he was talking about is how we always hear about these militias and we see these guys running around in the woods with camo on and shooting guns and all this kind of stuff. Here's the thing. There's some legitimate militias that are legitimately concerned with survival and being patriots. And then there's those other ones concerned with whether or not you got a good tan or not. Those are two different things. But first of all, if it comes to some sort of an apocalyptic situation or a global event, first thing, guess what you need to do? You need to be able to feed yourself. And all these guys, these different militia groups, what they don't talk about is if you couldn't pay them $1 million to know how to milk a cow, how to slaughter a deer, or to, how to survive in the woods for a month with just what they showed up with. Whereas, now some of us are blessed because we were in the military, so we kind of sort of got that stuff. But the ideology of self-sufficiency and being able to protect not just yourself, but your family and possibly a larger community is hugely important. So it's not about white or black or any of that. It's about, do you love your brothers? Do you love your family? Do you love your community? If so, then you'll take that stuff real serious. And I'm not saying you need to turn into a gun with all kinds of weird flags and all this kind of stuff. What I'm saying is, take it seriously enough to be able to take care of yourself. Like when we were talking about first aid, I saw a number of years ago, saw a guy got a really bad gunshot wound, and we didn't have an opportunity to do a whole heck of a lot. There was no first aid kit or any of that. There was a woman that was present. I asked her, did she have a tampon? And at first I thought her freaking head was going to explode. But the reason I asked for the tampon was so I could plug the hole. to stop the bleeding. In the Marine Corps, we call it ABCs. Like clear the airway so the person can breathe. So stop the bleeding, A, B, C, and create circulation. So ABC. I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff about this. Like different little acronyms and different things that you can train yourself to do. And by training yourself or by training the people in your club, it's each one teach one. You have to, if you know a certain group of things or have a certain group of skills, duplicate yourself, duplicate the best qualities of you, and allow yourself to be trained with the things that you don't know. It makes a difference. It makes a difference. Or
I gotta bow out, guys.
Yeah.
BD Bone
any
Mayhem.
Last words, Hank? Any last words?
Great subject matter tonight. Every single one of us, I think, had really, really good points. All I can say is just be mentally prepared, because if you can prepare your brain for what's going to happen first, there's not much they can throw at you after that. That you be prepared mentally first. So
Appreciate you, Tank.
all right, later, guys.
So I thought we had a good show tonight, and I just wanted to get that out there. Personally, I think that you got a whole army of 5, 10, 20, 400 guys, whatever it is. And there are a lot of things going on. Things are going. And I think that it might be in your best interest to have some conversations about how you might come together and protect yourself. Always remember the government is watching, and you could get some crazy charges if you're out having paintball fights. I don't know why. But keep in mind that these guys that you're hanging around with day to day and calling brothers are good for more than just riding motorcycles with. Mr. Freightliner says, we as the people have to be prepared to be our own fighters. America was started by members ready to leave England. So, yeah.
That's a big thing, too, that we're talking about, gun control, things like that. It was originally because we were under a tyrannical government that we needed these rights to, gain our freedom and so forth. And
you're breaking up. What's going on? What's going on with your feed? You're breaking up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Not sure what's happening there.
No, go ahead. We can hear you now.
Is it right? So I'm just saying that. Hold on a minute. There we go. Is it better?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So we broke away from a tyrannical government, and these rights, these laws that we put in place, for being able to bear arms and free speech and all of that was a direct result of that. And I think that we have taken for granted for so long that our own government that we put into place is never going to become the government that we were trying to get away from. And we have to be careful about that, because it can change that way. It hadn't started out that way in England, previously. So we got to be careful with that. And when we're looking at mandates for vaccines, gun control, and things like that, you got to wonder just how much of it is, truly for the American people's benefit, how much of it is a social experiment to see, how we can control. And a lot of these things with dividing us over, these different ideals and beliefs and so forth, just to make sure that, people can be controlled. There's all these things that you kind of, they almost border on conspiracy theory, but at the same time, when you sit back and you kind of look at some things, you're like, some of that's just making a little too much sense. And so we gotta be careful that we're, looking out for our own rights and freedoms, and looking out for one another. And that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. As our brotherhood, looking out for one another and making sure that we're each okay.
Hey, BD, I want to correct something that Freightliner wrote in. He made a comment suggesting that these militias were the same thing as BLM, and that's not even close to being accurate. Militias do what militias do, and again, a lot of militias are far right wing. I'm talking some of them are right of the Nazis, and then you got some other ones who are just survivalist or whatever, and then some of everything in between. But none of those things are even close to being anything like what BLM is. BLM is an organization that was started because too many cops were killing too many black folks, period. And that's it. It's nothing more or nothing less than that. So the narrative, and this is part of the problem, I said this earlier, is that the right wing and the left wing and the Republicans and Democrats are two wings of the same bird. And for those folks that drink the juice and buy into that BS about that all this narrative about BLM and all this other stuff, and it's a divide and conquer ideology that keeps Americans fighting Americans. So quit doing that. Because these BLM folks, if people were systematically killing your family members or your friends or people in your community, eventually, if you're a grown man, if you're a real man, you say, hey, we got a problem here. That's what BLM did. That's it. And so that has nothing to do with militias. But anyway.
100%. 100%.
Thank you.
Yep.
Well, there was a guy lost a couple days ago in Minnesota. Another guy. Laying in the bed sleep. So anyway, we got 3 minutes left. Any closing statements? I have mine. Listen, guys, I thank y'all for tuning in, and we will see y'all next Sunday on the roundtable. Appreciate you both, and I'm going to close with my final thoughts. Take care. All right, so the way I see it is this. Times are difficult. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But I do know I have my brothers in my club, and we've gone through things together. We call ourselves extended family, and we hang out with one another 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're on the phone every day. We're on chat lines and on and on and on. And so it's important that perhaps we think about, with all the fun we're having, perhaps we think a little bit about what should you do if the proverbial defecation comes into positive contact with the roto oscillator. And if that comes, then it really is not going to matter, what side you're on. You're going to be trying to figure out a way to eat, survive, and defend what little bit you got. And that's much better done with a group of people that you've been hanging around, that you share like-minded goals and ideals with. That's why we try to keep our motorcycle clubs full of people that have integrity, honor, commitment, loyalty, trust, enthusiasm, can communicate with one another, and think more about the we than they think about me. Stop saying mine, me, and start saying we. Stop saying my, me, mine, and then start saying we. Because in the event of anything horrible that goes on out there in the world, it's only the we that will see us through to the end. Hey, man, thank you guys for checking out the show. We had Tia and the ladies on earlier, Tia, Jess, and China. And that was their show that they're doing Sundays, which is Biker Wives, Tales of the Biker Wives. So they had their third show this weekend. It was a great show. It comes on at 6:30 Eastern time. And then Hollywood's got his show going on right now over on Insane Throttle, which is called the Neutral Zone, where they have people coming in and talking from, it doesn't matter what club or whatever, it's the Neutral Zone. And of course, we'll be on in the morning, I believe 9:30 Eastern. And oh my goodness, Big Cell over at FHOATLGA. Big Cell just made a statement that you guys probably want to see. Danny Delo's show is on here, YouTube, and of course he is a TikTok sensation. And the Bikers Lifestyle Podcast is Tank and Dirty. You got to check those guys out as well. Hey man, thank you for making me like a TikTok. My 4th TikTok view got video has 80,000 views in just a couple days, man. And I've gotten thousands of TikTok subscribers over the last couple days. I think we're like almost 3,000 now. So just a couple days in, I've gotten so many people to welcome me over to TikTok. So hopefully I can get to 10,000 pretty quickly. And just trying to have fun and do the show. We're already at almost 100,000 video views. I think we might be at 100,000 video views already. We've only been on the thing a few days. So that is cool. You guys did that, and I'm absolutely appreciative. So holy moly. The Dragon's Lair Motorcycle Chaos is our podcast. Bikerliberty.com is our online news magazine, and that was our podcast. And let me see what else. That's it. I think I got everything. And my books and gear and all that stuff is blackdragonsgear.com. Man, thank you guys so much. I'm just looking at the final comments. United we stand, absolutely. The ladies are fantastic. Thank you, my guys. Appreciate you. All right, cool. That's everything. Much love to everybody. I got love from Arizona. Thanks so much. I'm Black Dragon. That's my 2 cents. Love to hear your 2 cents in the comment section below. Thanks for tuning in, and get skinny.
Prepare yourself to take the helm as president of your mighty motorcycle club by delving into the pages of Black Dragon's newest book, The President's Bible, Chronicle 1, Principles of Motorcycle Club Leadership. There you will learn to advance your skills in applying the 14 scientific principles of leadership similar to those taught to officers in the United States Naval Service. Available in hardcover, paperback, and ebook. Get yours today on Amazon, Kindle, or order it at your local bookstore. Order your autographed copy from blackdragonsgear.com. Be the best motorcycle club president you can be. Get the book.